Om Ajnana Timandasya Janasya Smritam Yena Tasnai Vidodana Shetana Stam Sapitam Yena Putrami Vayapakamayam Dadati Padam Vande Shiyuda Padakam Shiyoim Vaishnavam Sham Shiyupam Jalivatam Sagamanatam Vitam Tam Sativa Sadvaitam Sagadutam Panjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Shri Krishnatam Vitam Sindhu Dino Bando Tilakpati Okatanta Kanchamastate Patinam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Yadvaita Radha Shiva Gita Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nama Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Srinyavadi Paskachaya Desatayane Srila Prabhupada Ki. So this evening I was thinking there are so many topics I can speak on in relation to the chanting of the holy name that but I will speak shortly on the third offense against the holy name. What's the third offense against the holy name? Disobey the orders of the spiritual master, or to consider him an ordinary person. That yes, the third offense. In our movement, that becomes a bit complicated sometimes. But, we will come to that point. I want also to share my own experience in this movement. That So once Srila Prabhupada said to some of his disciples, "Why am I translating these books in the middle of the night, giving up my sleep?" Prabhupada said, "It's for you to read them. If you are not reading my books, then a Guru Avahya, an offense to the spiritual master. Guru Avahya. That's the third offense." Prabhupada said, if you are not reading my books, it's an offense. That this instruction is for all practicing members in ISKCON. That so of course in Bhagavad Gita, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada explains the importance of following the instructions of the spiritual master. That so he writes, this is a quote from Bhagavad Gita 241, the famous purport, that Vyav Satnika Bodhi Ekana Koranam. This Bausaka Anantya Bausaka Vandasa Udaya Vinasainam. Yeah, that this verse described one-pointed intelligence, fixing on one point. Because materialists, Bausaka Anantas, they fix their mind on so many things, so many desires to fulfill. But the devotee should have only one desire, to please Krishna. But in the practice, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions in the purport there, quoted by Srila Prabhupada, that one should take the instruction of the spiritual master as one's mission in life. That focus on the instructions of the spiritual master. Without the instruction of the spiritual master, what is a bona fide spiritual master? Is someone who repeats Krishna's words. Krishna says, surrender unto me. The spiritual master says, surrender unto Krishna. It sounds quite simple, but it's important to understand that what's a bona fide spiritual master. So the order of the spiritual master is an active principle in spiritual life. Anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master becomes immediately useless. Asar, useless. Therefore, one should strictly follow the orders of the spiritual master. And in executing the will of Lord Krishna, that persons who are deviated from the strict order of the spiritual master are useless. That Prabhupada writes in another purpose, this is the way to advance in spiritual science. One must accept the words of an acharya, a bona fide spiritual master, to clear the path for spiritual advancement. This is a secret of success. However, one's guide must be the spiritual master, who is actually an unalloyed devotee, strictly following the instructions of the previous acharyas without deviation. Whatever the spiritual master says must be accepted by the disciple. Only then is success certain. This is the Vedic system. But now, I came in contact with this movement in the 80s. And this movement was in a big crisis. And right after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, the GBC, which was functioning, they decided to appoint 12 zonal acharyas. 12 zonal acharyas, and they divided the whole globe in 12 zones, and each acharya had a certain zone. But unfortunately, very soon, many of them fell down, 70% or something. Most of them were 5 years in the movement, 10 years in the movement. And they took such a position prematurely that I cannot imagine when I was 5 years or 10 years uh, in a movement to take the position of a spiritual master. I'm since a few months an initiating spiritual master, but that's after 35 years. That's not after 5 or 10 years. So many fell down, and when I came in contact with the movement, some devotees had already taken three times reinitiation, because every time they go fell down. So I was thinking, I will not quickly take initiation. Let's wait. But then in 92, I met Bhakti Maharaj. Bhakti Maharaj, that he said to me, I'm not a spiritual master, but I can only connect you with Srila Prabhupada. But that is the characteristic of a bona fide spiritual master. He connects you with the previous guru. But of course, Srila Prabhupada has a very special position that nobody is on the level of Srila Prabhupada. That no one in this movement. He was, because how do we know that? It's in the scriptures. Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, who appeared 500 years ago to re-establish the Yuga Dharma of this age, that, well, he said that this information is found because we have a lot of information about the biography of Lord Chaitanya, because there are 11 biographies. The last and the most complete is Chaitanya Charitamrita, which gives also the strong philosophical basis that, but there are also the notes books of Swarup Damodar, that is also, many others. The Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur, a lot. It's, they're practically, the life of Lord Chaitanya is in full described. But also in Chaitanya Mangal, written by Lord Chandas Thakur. And there it is mentioned that in the future, Lord Chaitanya said, well, it's in the scriptures. In the future, my Sena Party Bhakta, my expert field commander, will appear, and he will distribute this chanting of the holy name all over the world, in every town and village. So the question is, who has done that? It's Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada writes also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it doesn't mention himself, but it implies he's speaking about himself, because he says that without empowerment, no one can spread the holy names all over the world. So Prabhupada was empowered for that. And it's due to him that we are all here today. That because he brought us the holy name, that and Srila Prabhupada did not just give us the holy name, he gave us Srimad Bhagavatam, he gave us an institution in which we can practice devotional service. Because without association of devotees, it doesn't work. Jagadananda Pandit in his Prema Vivarta writes, if one chants the holy name in a solitary place without association of devotees, what comes out of your name is not a holy name, he says, but something that resembles the holy name. So we need to chant in association of devotees. So yes, Prabhupada gave us the whole process and he gave us a movement in which to practice that. So every member in ISKCON must have a morning program. If you are initiated, you must have a morning program. Otherwise, you are not following the process properly. And a class, today we can do it online. Okay, it's online, but follow the process. So Prabhupada gave us the process, but also the means. But there is more. In spiritual life, you need mercy. Mercy. Without mercy, we cannot make spiritual advancement. And this mercy comes to the Guru Parampara and comes to Srila Prabhupada. That's very important to understand. It comes to Srila Prabhupada, to the Guru Parampara. To Srila Prabhupada. I was in 2018, I was at the Bhaktivedanta Manor in London. And I was there together with Bhakti Charamaj. Bhakti Charamaj was going to give initiation to many of the Bhakti Shastri graduates. I was their teacher, that most were from Leicester, all Gujaratis. That a lot of Gujaratis in England, in Leicester, in Coventry, especially around London, the Bhaktivedanta Manor, in Harrow, in the north, also in South London, not all Gujaratis. But Bhakti Charamaj asked me to speak to them in the temple room, to give a class to them. And so it's embarrassing, your spiritual master is there, he asking to give a class. So what do you do? So I prayed to him for mercy, please bless me. And when I asked him, please bless me, he said, no. I was pointing with his finger to the deity of Prabhupada. That's where the mercy comes from. And then I had to pray to Prabhupada. But that's important, that we know where the mercy comes from. Our spiritual master in this movement is a representative of Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, when Bhakti Charamaj said to me, I am not a spiritual master, but I only can connect you with Srila Prabhupada. But that's what a spiritual master means. A spiritual master never thinks himself a spiritual master. He thinks himself a servant from the previous spiritual master. So that is the way to advance in spiritual life, understanding our spiritual master is representative of Prabhupada. But Prabhupada gave us something very, very valuable. We need mercy to advance in spiritual life. And that can be explained in many ways, but like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tesham Satataktaye. No, it is Tesham satayuktanam bhatsham pitapurvakam dadami buddhiyogam taminam upayantite. If Krishna says, if you serve me with a little love, dadami, I give you something. I give you buddhi yoga. What is this buddhi yoga? It's not theoretical knowledge. It is realization. And Krishna explains that in the next verse, Tesham evanakampratam ammagyana samtama nasa chamat me bhavasta jnana dipana bhasvata. With the jnana dipana, with the lamp of knowledge, I'm going into the heart and I remove all the ignorance. And that's how Krishna gives us realized knowledge, realization. But Tesham Satyuktam Bachtam Priti Purvakam, you must serve me with a little love. And that's the problem. In this world, we don't know what love is. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 4, from verse 108 onwards or something, there Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains during many verses the difference between lust and love. Lust is a satisfaction of the senses, the body and the mind. But love means satisfying the transcendental senses of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is so because Krishna said, Petipuvakam, serve me, you serve me with a little love, but we don't have even that little love. But our acharyas explain, if we follow the order of the spiritual master, then Krishna accepts that as a little love. That's where it starts to get to it. That's how to get to the vicious circle, the mercy of the spiritual master. And that we get the mercy by following his instructions. But in this movement, it's a little complicated. And although very simple, but many devotees do not really understand how the mercy flows to Prabhupada. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhavamat bhakto majimam namaskar. Manmana, just fix your mind on me. Manmana. And then by always thinking of me, bhavamat bhakto, you will become my devotee. And then what does a devotee do? Machayi worships Nam Kauspi or of obeisance. And Krishna in the next verse says, yes, surrender unto me. Just do that. Forget all the other things. I will take care of you. But then in the next verse, he explains how to get the mercy. One should explain the secret of devotional service to my devotees. One should preach. And Krishna said there is no one more dear than the preacher. So we should give it others. And what did Prabhupada give us? He gave us this movement, a preaching movement, so that if we engage in this movement, we all can get the mercy. So that means if we receive initiation if we receive initiation in this movement, then the next we need to progress to a higher level by practice. And we should know how to do that. Prabhupada in a letter writes, in 2 letters, he writes about boiling the milk. So it means yeah, we can have many devotees joining, but then they have to make spiritual advancement. We see first people from outside comes, and sometimes they come to our festivals, and that they come from the community to the crowd, we call. Sometimes they come that the crowd, you see it at the Bhaktivedanta Manor in London, Jan Mastami, 1 million people come, many Indians. That, but but when you ask them who is Lord Chaitanya, they don't know. They say, I'm just coming to see Radha Krishna, Radha Gokulananda, that we come to see the deity, but they don't know. They don't know. So that's the crowd. They don't know. But then when they understand, yes, who is Krishna, who is Lord Chaitanya, who is Prabhupada, then they become congregational members and they come to the Sunday feast. But then these congregational members must prepare for initiation, the next step. Boiling the milk, first step in boiling the milk. They have to become prepared for initiation. That and then when they get initiation, then they must become core members of ISKCON. Means they have to understand it's my duty to push forth the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And finally, one should become completely dedicated to the mission, go on book distribution, and do everything to spread the movement. If we don't boil the milk, then advancement becomes very difficult, very difficult. So we have to make an effort. And Prabhupada gave us this preaching movement. It's not difficult to help with the preaching, that you, you help with the deity worship, that you do some service in the temple, some service for helping to organize outreach programs. Sometimes go on Harinam, distribute prasadam. It's all Prabhupada's mission, but we should engage ourselves. Service, it is not just theoretically. We have to do service, bring it in practice. That we hear Bhagavatam, that's good, we chant. The result should be we engage in service. And to get the mercy, we engage in Prabhupada's mission. It's very important. And that, so this is so a way to get the mercy. Prabhupada gave us this movement. But in spiritual master within ISKCON represents Srila Prabhupada. And connects with everyone with Srila Prabhupada. That's the function. This guru Prabhupada wanted ISKCON. This guru has to function in a multi-guru society. And now that has great advantages. I said, no one is like Prabhupada. But that does not mean that no one is a pure devotee in ISKCON. That's something else. We have different kinds of pure devotees. But they are all these gurus in ISKCON, and they are all lamps. And some are bigger lamps, some smaller lamps. That they are not all on the same level. But Prabhupada says in Nectar of Instruction, text 5, one must take shelter of an Uttam Adhikar devotee. One can also take shelter of a Madhyam Adhikar devotee, but such a spiritual master on a Madhyam platform can also accept disciples, but this disciple, he can only bring their disciples to his level, not to the highest level. Of course, the Madhyam will also progress. So that's interesting. But we are in a multi-guru society. I started to say about, just to tell you about this crisis in the 80s, and that I came to this movement and I was not thinking of taking an initiation, but then I met Bhakti Charamaj. He said, I'm not a spiritual master. I only connect you with Prabhupada. And he spoke always about Prabhupada, putting Prabhupada in the center. And this is so important, to put Prabhupada in the center. But an interesting is, Bhakti Charamaj gave also, he understood that in this ISKCON society, Prabhupada must be the center, not the gurus, individual gurus. Prabhupada must remain in the center. And that is very important because the gurus are just servants of Prabhupada. Prabhupada has a very unique position, but he gave us this movement. And interesting is, Bhakti Charamaj, I spoke with him and he said, yes, he instructed me, you should take instructions of everyone who is more advanced than you. That interesting. That he gave also two other instructions. Never leave the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. That and the third instruction: never leave ISKCON. That and accept the GBC's authority. That were his instructions he was giving. And I was thinking about it, and finally I decided to accept him as my spiritual master. But I asked him if I could take shelter also of other gurus. And I took shelter of Prahladananda Swami. That's interesting. That he, because when I got initiation, right after initiation, they asked me to become the secretary of the European IGB, that European that regional governing body of Europe. That was just formed, just new. Before there was only the GBC, the Euro GBC, but then it became the regional governing body. And I became the first secretary, and Anonymous was the first chairman. And they decided to send us, that was in 2001. At that time, there was a big war in a, a war that ended in Yugoslavia at the end of 1999. And they sent us to Serbia in 2001, just after the war, to see how the devotees were doing. A lot of stories I can tell about that. But then with Prahlad Nanda Maharaj, we went to Serbia, and I started to travel with him 2-3 months a year in all the Eastern countries, Eastern European countries. That I was, we became good friends, but he educated me in Krishna consciousness during all these travels, and he he was teaching me how to preach. That in the evening, he would give Bhagavad Gita class. He would speak 20 minutes, and then he would ask me to speak 20 minutes. And then after speaking, usually in private, he would give me feedback of my preaching. Sometimes sweet, sometimes not so sweet. But he trained me how to preach according to Siddhanta and not deviate from it. That I learned a lot from him, and I'm so grateful from him. That, but I learned also from other teachers. Like one of my spiritual masters is Burichan Prabhu. That from him I learned the Bhagavatam. I was from 2020 till 2011, 3 months a year in Vrindavan. That's long. Then for the Bhakti Vaibhav and the Bhaktivedanta course, I'm one of the first who did the Bhaktivedanta. And Bhujam Prabhu instructed me to teach Bhaktivedanta, but which I'm doing now since 5-6 years. But he taught me the Bhagavatam. That I'm very grateful for him. In Europe, we had Vedai Chaitanya Prabhu. He was temple president of Radhadesh, then he became the GBC. But I worked a lot with him, especially in Radhadesh and other places. And I learned from him tolerance. He had to tolerate so many things. I could see that as to run a big temple, it's not. And then later GBC. I learned from him tolerance. In Radhadesh, of course, now to get second initiation, you have to the ISKCON disciple course, you have to have a Bhakti Shastri and so on. But in the 90s, that was different. So 1 year after my first initiation, that they needed pujaris in Radhadesh, and my Guru Maharaj came and gave me second initiation. There was no big issue. I didn't have the Bhakti Shastra even at that time. But anyway, I've been trained by Prema Siddhi Ananda Prabhu. He's still there. That he was a head pujari, and he trained me in all aspects of deity worship. He's my guru in deity worship. And then I was living in the ashram in Radhadesh together with a friend. He's now Yadunanda Swami, that from Spain. That it comes is spiritual master is Satsvarup Das Goswami. He comes to Delaware sometimes, but from him I learned the importance of friendship in devotional service. That yes, that there are so many. So in ISKCON we don't learn just from our Diksha Guru. No, we learn from so many who are advanced and advanced in certain aspects. Therefore, we have to take advantage of this movement and take shelter of everyone who is more advanced than us. And that's something I want to stress, that what makes us to come to this Guru Avakya is that we take the mission of our own spiritual master, disconnected, not in harmony with Prabhupada. And then the problems come. That that is Guru Avagya also. So that's something what needs to be understood. And if we don't understand that, then we are neophytes and we cause problems in this movement. So this principle of taking the order of the spiritual master as our life and soul should be connected with Prabhupada's mission directly, and also connected under the direction of the GBC. So this is important that so there are many quotes here about this but Prabhupada in a conversation he discussed statements about his god brothers found which are Prabhupada made in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. He writes, at first all the followers of Advaita Acharya shared a single opinion, but later they followed two different opinions, as ordained by Providence. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the words Daivera Karana indicate that by dint of providence or by God's will, the followers of Advaita Acharya divided into two parties. Such disagreement among the disciples of one Acharya is also found among the members of the Gaudiya Math. In the beginning, during the presence of Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvakacharya Astatarashachi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Prabhupada, all the disciples worked in agreement, but just after his appearance they disagreed. One part strictly followed the instructions of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, but another group created their own concoction about executing his desires. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, at the time of his departure, requested all his disciples to form a governing body and conduct missionary activities cooperatively. He did not instruct a particular man to become the next Acharya, but just after his passing away, his leading secretaries made plans without authority to occupy the post of Acharya, and they split into two factions and over who the next Acharya would be. Consequently, both factions were asar or useless because they had no authority, having disobeyed the order of the spiritual master. Despite the spiritual master's order to form a governing body and execute the missionary activities of the Gaudiya Math, the two unauthorized factions began licitation, and this is still going on for 40 years with no decision. We see that when Lord Chaitanya appeared, that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he took the position of a devotee, that of a disciple, in order to teach that how a devotee should follow the orders of the spiritual master. But yes, and there are so many instructions here. But we see that in our movement, we are first, when we come to our movement, we become Shiksha disciples of Prabhupada. And that is the identity of all ISKCON devotees, should be the identity. I'm a follower of Prabhupada. I'm also a disciple of my spiritual master. That's right, but I'm also a follower of Prabhupada. That he's the Shiksha Guru, the Jagat Guru, that we have a multi-Guru institutions, But all ISKCON gurus are representative of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada remains the principal instruction for everyone in the movement. That the duty of every ISKCON guru is to explain these teachings of the founder Acharya and engages the disciples in Prabhupada's mission. That so therefore, when I spoke at the beginning, Prabhupada said you should read my books, otherwise Guru Avakya. That is a duty for all ISKCON disciples, not just for the first generation. That so Prabhupada set the standards that need to be maintained by everyone in ISKCON. It says everyone should chant a minimum of 16 rounds. That, but sometimes I saw Bhakti Charamaj, my Guru Maharaj, he gave in London, he gave initiation and asked someone to chant 4 rounds. So I was thinking, how is that? But this person cannot hear, cannot speak. And for him, chanting 1 round takes 1 hour. So 4 rounds means 4 hours of chanting for him. So that shows there must be room for exceptions, but it should be the GBC who decides about this. Because but Srila Prabhupada the standard that so you, we see an important instruction is how to deal with the guru, how to deal with the guru. It's explained in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, the Uddhav Gita. And there Krishna says, Acharyam mam vichaniyam navamayeta karichit namahtya buddhasuyetu sarvadeva mayagaro. One should know that Acharyas myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him as an ordinary person, for he is the representative of all demigods. So Krishna says, the Acharya, the spiritual master, is very dear to me. He's not saying the Diksha Guru is very dear to me and not the Shiksha Guru. No, he says here we should give them equal respect. They may not be on the same level, that's fine, but we should give them the same respect. And in our movement, this is many times going wrong. That if you are an initiating guru, then everyone sees you higher than the Siksha guru, and this is wrong. There's a wrong culture that has been cultivated, and that leads to this guru avakya. That's again this third offense. I just want to point out this evening how this third offense in ISKCON has a particular application. We are a multi-go society where Prabhupada is in the center. So Krishna does not make a distinction between Shiksha and Guru, Shiksha and Diksha Guru, that our Guru Parampara is linked together by Shiksha, not Diksha. That's very clear. So all these offenses, this third offense comes about when there is guru groupism. That and that is we must recognize whether Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, they are all equal representatives of Prabhupada. They may not be on the same level, but they are all repeating Prabhupada's instructions. And that, by that, if we understand that, we can avoid this offense, Guru Avahya, that because if we put Prabhupada in the center in this movement and cooperate, Prabhupada said, if we cooperate, that is showing love for Prabhupada. Then we get mercy. That then generation after generation will be able to receive this mercy of Prabhupada. And the path to Godhead will become increasingly traveled. That ISKCON is Prabhupada's body and is a preaching movement. It's Prabhupada who still preaches to ISKCON. If we keep the body healthy, Prabhupada can do a lot of preaching. That because we meet someone on the street, but what will you 2 minutes talk to him do? No, give him a book. And when he opens the book, Prabhupada is preaching to him. Very powerful. So Prabhupada is still preaching to ISKCON. That so we therefore we if everyone takes full shelter of Prabhupada as a Shiksha Guru in his Vani manifestation, his instructions, that and then if all teachers and gurus or whatever would will explains Prabhupada's books that that conveys Prabhupada's authentic message, then we can give to so many proper guidance that then Prabhupada remains present. That and that will secure our unity, keep the movement together, and our integrity of ISKCON. That ISKCON teachings will remain consistent over time, space and time. That so because Prabhupada's realized knowledge is in his books, and it has a specific potency to spread Krishna consciousness. That potency will be not only be preserved but expanded, and then his books will remain the future development to be realized. That so Prabhupada's eyes will always be the lens to which we see all generations, all future generations, and all future generations will see, understand our previous acharyas to Prabhupada. So I tried to explain this third offense. That's if you have any questions or comments, or you want to ask other questions in relation to the chanting of the holy name, welcome. So, any questions? Yes.
One question is like, you explained it very nicely because this is kind of multi-guru system, and anyone who is more advanced than you is definitely you can learn from that person. But many a times, like, you become afraid that asking or taking mercy or shelter of someone else than your Diksha Guru, is it going to displease your Guru? How that will work basically? Right?
Yeah. If that displeases your guru, then the guru is not bona fide. But we have to be uh, careful that because if we listen to someone and it says something different than your Diksha guru, then you have to inquire from your Diksha guru first. That's etiquette. That etiquette is still there. That etiquette is still there. And that's important. It's not that the Diksha guru he has a specific function. The Diksha guru links you with the Guru Parampara. That's first. That, but it's also his function is to help to guide you so that you can engage yourself properly according to your nature. And therefore, but in that regard, the guru has to cooperate with ISKCON authorities. So there must be cooperation. And that's very important. Without that cooperation, then it becomes troublesome. That and it is okay if you feel inspired of your Guru Maharaj Diksha Guru to mainly hear from him. That's also good, but not only from him. You have to hear from everyone. That because it's also a question of faith, of course. But, so it is the it is the point of because you have the Vedic system of relationship disciple with the spiritual master. It is still valid, but it has to be applied in a multi-guru society according to the instructions of the founder Acharya. And there sometimes challenges come in, but and sometimes there may be disagreement between devotees about that, but we should try to cooperate as much as possible to please Prabhupada. That avoid this groupism. Yeah. And my spiritual master Bhakti Sharma knew this. Like his Vyatsa Puja, he didn't want it. He said, instead, glorify Prabhupada. And therefore, we have Inuchain, that beautiful celebration of seminars, 4 days only about Prabhupada. And it is so inspiring. That, yeah, I think that's important. We keep on putting Prabhupada in the center. Because that attracted me to my Guru Maharaj. When I saw him, he was a Prabhupada bhakta. He was always speaking about Prabhupada. That putting Prabhupada in the center. I remember in 96, that was a centennial year. At that time, because of course in the 80s, they have Satsvarup Das Goswami and others have developed the Prabhupada Shilamrita. But then in 96, they made a version in one book. It just came out. And for 1 week, Bhakti Charamach was, instead of giving the Bhagavatam, he was speaking from Prabhupada Lilamrita. He said, it's the same of the Bhagavatam. This is the living Bhagavatam. The, yeah, that's, mhm. So that's important. We keep Prabhupada alive. Like in Randadesh, that's my home temple. There we have on Monday, we hear a lecture of Prabhupada all together and discuss it. And I think on Thursday, we read Prabhupada Lilamrita. usually we work in the garden, removing the weed, and someone reads the Prabhupada Lilamrita time we wholly hear it. So that's twice a week Prabhupada in the center. So it's important we keep on doing that. Because I'm for years even now every day I hear a lecture of Prabhupada practically. It's so important that now I'm helping with the translation of Prabhupada's books in Dutch. It's very intense because you must translate very close to Prabhupada, and it's such a meditation that's also direct contact with Prabhupada in his Vani, and that very nice. Does that help?
Yeah.
Anything else? Uh,
Just one humble request since you are here. Can you share some pastimes of
Bhakti Maharaj. Yeah, I can share a few things because usually, yeah, well, I can share a few things. I was already in it was 15 years ago, nearly 20 years ago. Because from 2004 I was preaching in the Ukraine, 2 months a year. That was quite austere. But then 2010 I wrote Guru Maharaj, yeah. I would like to come to for your Vyatsa Puja and the Prabhupada Memorial Festival in Ujjain. That so I wrote him in an email, and he replied to me. I think 10 minutes later, I got a reply. One line. This is not important. You stay where you are. Because he understood. He felt that I was preaching there, the most valuable work of preaching, and that's important. That to come here for my Vyatsa Puja, yeah, that's something. Yeah, I remember also that so many points. But I got first initiation in Mayapur that time. The day for my first initiation, he asked me to come. And he asked me, well, Bhaktaluk, that was my name, what about marriage? And I told him, Guru Maharaj, I'm just coming out of a divorce, too painful. And after that, he never spoke about it. But anyway, that I found interesting that yes, so many memories about Bhakti Charamaj. In '96, the centennial year, I was in Mayapur in the summer, in August, and Guru Maharaj was organizing in that year 3 months travel with. I remember we went in Calcutta, seeing all the places where Prabhupada was, Scottish College, his apartment, everything. That and then we came to Mayapur, and in Mayapur, we had another Navadvip Mangal Parikram. And the first day of the Parikram, we were all before the conch building. And he spoke to us and said, now you have arrived in the spiritual world. you continually chant or hear the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, that now you, by doing that, you stay on the transcendental platform and don't come down again with your consciousness. Stay on that platform. That, yeah, that. I tell one story, but that's a story that, yeah, I don't tell much, but it happened that this is in New Mayapur in France. That we know it's coming from. This is the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. We know France there in the 80s was the zone of Bhagavan, the zone of Acharya. Anyway, I don't want to go into that. But the error that, one of the errors that was made, many errors, because we had Ermenonville, a big castle, and we had New Mayapur, two castles. Ermenonville was a, an was an estate which belonged really to the French patrimonium. It was the estate of Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a very high, yeah, a French philosopher, very known. And we bought that castle, and they considered us a dangerous sect, so they we got a lot of opposition there. But we distributed a lot of books. Here in the United States, you are as a religion registered, you are tax exempt, but not in Europe. And he was not aware of that. And we distributed millions of books there, but did not pay tax on the books. So at a certain moment, they seized Ermenonville, we lost it, and they wanted also to get New Mayapur. But one of my godbrother, he was later Prabhava Maharaj, that he was the first sannyasi that Guru Maharaj sannyas gave. He was an elderly French gentleman, a businessman. And he came up with the idea, because after Bhagavan fell away, Guru Maharaj was sent by the GBC to the Benelux and France to deal with the crisis situation. And that was a crisis situation. We were going to lose the castle. So they come up with an idea. Let's sell it by auction, and then buy it again under another company. That was the idea. That and because otherwise they would seize it and we would lose it. So the company was created, and Guru Maharaj went especially to the UK to ask for a loan and donations, and he collected a few million French francs. But then the auction came, and there was one company who was interested also in buying it. And auction in France means the notary comes and you have a candle, and the candle is as long that the candle is burning, they can make a bid. But when it goes out, finished. So Guru Maharaj went there dressed with, with in a confection suit as a businessman, with a wig with false hair. So he went, and so because he was presenting a company which was not ISKCON, that was they called it SCI Printemps, because I've been also 6-7 years director of New Mayapur and also temple president for a few months. Was anyway, I don't speak about that. But the thing is that so they went in, and the other man was also there. And the man make a bid, we made a higher bid, the man make a higher bid, we make a higher bid, and then, yeah, we came to the limit of, because we had to collect it within 1 month. And then the man went out, he went to the toilet and make a phone call. But then when he wanted to return, going to the temple, two Matajis stopped him and said, "We don't want you to go in." That's two of our devotees, Matajis, were very courageous. And finally, he was waiting there for some minutes, and then he forced his way in. And when he came in, the candle went out. And the notary knocked 3 times. It's for SC Printemps, and we got it back. That, but you can understand what he had to do such things that we cannot. No, Guru Maharaj would uh, never go in karmic clothes, but there he did, just for that. Anyway, this was some past.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maharaj, because I heard about the Brooklyn story. I never heard about the New France story. So thank you so much for
That's small.
sharing that, because I knew that he saved that project also, but I never heard the details. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah.
You don't make that public.
Yeah, right. Not that much. Yeah, so first time I heard that. So very well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was very happy to be here. And
Thank you, Maharaj.
thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes.
2 questions. Like, and I think all these days with a lot of patience and humble obeisances, Maharaj. Maharaj, can you hear me? Maharaj?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Could you hear me?
That even in Prabhupada's time, many people have fallen after he passed away. I mean, he disappeared. I mean, and Guru also takes the vow that I will take that many births to deliver all the devotees who got the shelter, right? So this is also happening in the movement, current movement, that many people leave Guru, many people leave the movement and all. So how this is all going to work? Like, I just wanted to know, like, this effect of Kali Yuga. Guru is penalized now just because he gave the education. Now he has to suffer, take so many lifetimes and deliver, right? So what can happen in the sense of
We are connected with the Guru by following his instructions. By following his instructions. That's very important. That it's not that the Guru you get fire sacrifice at initiation, and the Guru takes your karma. And you can say, "Thank you, Guru man. Very nice. If I need you again, let you know." But that's not how it works. How it works is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Dat Vinapanapatna Paraprasna Seva Protection Titekam Gyanastat Production. You should approach the spiritual master, serve him humbly, inquire from him, and follow his instructions. If he follows in his instructions, what will happen? Gatgatvana Punamam Evan Yasasi Pandavni Yena Bhutana Ashishan Dakshachi Atmati Atomai. Then you start to see that everything is connected with Krishna and is in Krishna. So you become Krishna conscious. Apasita Sapabhyo Savabhyo Papakitama Savakana Plavinima Krishnam Santarishasi. Then you come on the boat of transcendental knowledge, and you will be able to cross over the ocean of material miseries. And then, if you follow these instructions and you come on that boat of transcendental knowledge, you get realization, then your karma is burnt. In the next verse, as firewood burns ashes, firewood to ashes, in the same way your karma is burnt, Krishna says. And then the guru takes your karma, but not automatically. You are connected by following his instructions. If you say I'm not following the instructions anymore, you are not connected anymore. That connection is to service and following his instructions. That's important. And that Guru Maharaj said many times, we are on the boat of ISKCON. The only thing you must do is you have to remain on the boat, not jump over in the ocean. Stay on the boat. On the boat means we follow the regulative principles, we chant, and we follow the process. Then you stay on the boat. That I give also the example, because Prabhupada gives the example. What much a rich young man do to get the inheritance? He just must stay alive. So we must stay alive in Krishna consciousness. It's not that the guru doesn't take karma, yes, but not only the guru takes another's karma. This is explained in the pastime in the fifth canto, Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj, yeah, yeah, Prithu Maharaj, he got, I think, 1/6 of all the good karma of the people and 1/6 of all the bad karma. So if we give shelter to someone, we get also karma. That is a karmic law. That if we give shelter to others, we give karma. That, but the guru will take all your karma if you follow the process. But it's not just as initiation. Initiation is the beginning. Otherwise, it would be easy. Initiation, all my karma is gone. But karma means anarthas also. That's connected. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm known as a preacher of spiritual reality because sometimes, well, Chaitanya Charan said, uses that word. Sometimes devotees have a lollipop idea of spirituality. But no, you have to endeavor and to tolerate. We have to do our part to make spiritual advancement. Yeah. Okay.
There's one more question. So in the spiritual world, the devotee reaches to the abode of Krishna, but he meets his guru also, right? So how the devotee and guru and Krishna service will happen over there? Like how does he get the opportunity?
Bhakti Charamach explained it always giving the example of Brihad Bhagavatamritam, that when Gop Kumar arrived in the spiritual world, that Bhakti Charamach said, your Guru Maharaj, your spiritual master, will introduce you to Krishna, but he will have a spiritual form. But you may not recognize him, but he will introduce you to Krishna. That's also explained in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Yeah. Good. Thank you so much. Okay, then thank you. Jai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for 3 days of nectarian class. And today, icing on the cake with how we keep Prabhupada in center and then serve in the mood of cooperation and do the preaching to get the mercy of Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you for visiting Charlotte. And please keep Charlotte in your itinerary for next.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 3 times Haribol to His Holiness Bhakti Prabhupada. Haribol. Haribol. Srila Prabhupada ki. Devotees, please come and get cookies from Maharaj. Prasad.
Yeah.
Cookies.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Can you hold it for a minute? I'll take right hand. Take a clip.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,